Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing an art journal page in my brand new art journal, and what better way to start it off than with the February Spellbinders large die of the month, and this is for 2019. And in a previous video I had talked about having some ideas on what to do with the small and the large die of the month. So here's what I came up with for the small die. This is just a box card, nothing special. There's some different measurements to so that the small die could fit around the bottom of it, and I will leave the sizes to the box card and some photos and pretty much everything that I used to make it over on my blog, which I will leave linked at the bottom of the video. So if you want to go check that out and recreate it yourself, there's just a few extra dies that I had in my stash in there, but for the most part most of that is made with the small die of the month. So with the large die of the month, I wanted to do a journal page, and I don't do art journals ever. I do a lot of mixed media for backgrounds, which you'll see a video coming up here pretty soon next week for May with that same exact technique, but I wanted to do an actual journal because I've never done one before. So what I decided to do was to take, this was actually my daughter's and I kind of stole it from her and pulled all the pages out that she had scribbled in because she really wouldn't do anything with it. And then I took them because they're kind of thin pages, and I kind of glued them together. So this is 2 pages glued together, and I'm just using some acrylic paint, and it's just some apple barrel stuff that I got at Walmart real cheap, but they had it in a packet and it had a bunch of colors in it, beautiful colors, so I picked it up. And I had prepared the page before with some gesso, but I'm really not going to use much in the way of water on it, so I really didn't need to gesso the page, but I did anyway just in case. Um, you don't have to if you don't want to. And now I'm just kind of putting on some blue and some pink because this is the background that I want, and it'll make kind of a real pretty purple when it dries. Also, I'm going to take the blue that I use, the pink and the white, and I'm going to splatter my page, and I got white paint everywhere, so I'm going to put a little piece of paper over the cover so it's not quite so bad. And the other thing that I did was I added a little bit of water to my roller, my brayer, to take some of the pink off because it was getting a little too bright. So I did remove some of it, and that's where you can see the white behind it. Then for the pieces that I'm going to be using the dyes on, I just took some Distress Oxide inks and I inked up some Bristol Smooth Strathmore cardstock, and I just did a bunch of different colors, and you'll see why. It's really random, and it's not because it's not going to be like a whole page. This is what I'm using to die cut all my pieces out with. So these are the colors that I wanted to use for my butterflies and all my flowers. So just going to throw some water on those and start die cutting out my pieces. So the only thing that I'm going to show you the actual die cutting. Oh, I also forgot to do a green page for all the greenery, is the black. Is real pretty, and so I left this in so that you could see it, just because I think it's absolutely beautiful. These butterflies, they're so intricate, and you can layer them in a few different ways. But there's the outline, and the sentiment is it's just the word bonjour. And then I also have some dies, I mean some stamps that kind of go along with that in my stash in the center of the body. And then you can see the big outline in the back. So I did all that in black because I really wanted it to pop off of the colorful page. So let's get finished on our background now that it's dry. And I'm going to use some archival ink and some stamps from my stash. And I'm also going to use some of the Distress Oxide that I used for the greenery. And I'm just going to take this kind of like I think it's like a grassy wheat stamp that I had in my stash, and I'm just kind of putting it along the bottom because my idea was that I wanted like a meadow of wildflowers kind of going up that corner page, and then the butterflies kind of off in the top. So you'll get the idea. So I'm just kind of lightly stamping it across the bottom. And then this is in French. I know you can't really see it because it's so far you know, I'm not zoomed into it, but it was part of the French Country stamp set by Graphic 45. So this was just some elements from that stamp set, I think. I'm almost positive that's where it came from, but I'm just kind of randomly putting them around the page. And then I'm going to take this little flourish stamp, and I'm going to very, very lightly stamp it, because when I stamped the top corner one, I realized it was way too dark and I didn't want it like that. So I'm just going to very lightly kind of touch it around the page. And then that's going to be it for that. And I'm also going to use my homemade stencil and some texture paste, and I'm going to put some white texture around my page. I like to layer as much as I can on the page without it getting to be too thick. So that's going to be the end of that. Now I'm going to glue down my sentiment, and then I have a stamp that says Mon ami, so it's bonjour, and then my friend is going to go right underneath it. And I'm probably saying that all wrong because I don't speak French at all, but I thought that looked really pretty. And then we're just going to start layering our butterfly and our little pieces. So it's super easy to put these butterflies together, and you'll see when I pull out what we cut from using the oxide ink background. It's just absolutely, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? And then you just layer them up on top of each other. Luckily, this is, I did cut a lot of the video out because a lot of it is just placing my little flower garden at the bottom. So I won't make you sit through all that, but I just wanted to leave the butterflies in because I thought this is really nice. And I'm using different, the both of them are different, so I'm using different parts of it. You can use them all together, or you can use some or none or a couple. You don't have to use the whole thing. But what I did want is to have that outline on both of them because I think that just is really pretty. So there's both of those. Aren't those just gorgeous butterflies? Spellbinders. They just do such an awesome job. I'm going to put the bodies on, and then I'm going to start working on the little kind of wild garden at the bottom that my butterflies are flying over. And see, I didn't make you sit through all that. And then these are the butterflies from the small die of the month, but I wanted to add a couple little butterflies in, and the small die of the month was just sitting right next to me, so I grabbed it and cut these off instead of digging through my stash looking for small butterflies in my stash. But there it is. And then I took it. Oh, that's the the multimedia mat. So if you want to add detail to the top, you want to kind of lightly pounce it all over the place. But here's the finished product here, and I added some white gel pen to my flowers along with some Nouveau Crystal drops, and what else did I do? I added a black outline around the butterflies, and yeah, so that was just to kind of bring everything out, is just to use your white gel pen, use a black outline around some of your images to make them pop off of the page, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed my little art journal. Hopefully I'll be able to do some more pages in this with some more of the Spellbinder stuff. I really do appreciate you guys stopping by, and I will see you again real soon. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.